I never imagined I'd be the kind of man who would hide cameras inside his own home. It sounds paranoid, doesn't it? Like something only insecure, jealous husbands would do. But when you spend years with someone and little cracks begin to show in the perfect picture, paranoia doesn't feel so crazy anymore. It feels like survival. For months, I had been sensing something different in my wife's behavior. The way she guarded her phone. The way she dressed up even for small errands. The sudden excuses about working late. Or how quickly she'd step outside whenever a notification buzzed. Every time I asked, she had answers that seemed logical enough. But my gut refused to stay silent. And I've learned the hard way in life. Your gut is rarely wrong. So, one weekend while she was visiting her mother, I did something I'd never thought I'd do. I installed small cameras. Nothing obvious. Just a couple in the living room, one in the kitchen, and another pointed at the entryway. I told myself it was for peace of mind. If I was wrong, I'd feel foolish, maybe even guilty. But if I was right, then at least I'd finally have the truth staring back at me. The first week, nothing unusual happened. Just the everyday routine. She cooked. She scrolled on her phone. She talked to me on video calls when I was at work. And I almost convinced myself I had lost my mind. Maybe I really was imagining it all. Maybe my fears were just shadows. But then one evening, I opened the footage after work, and my world collapsed. She wasn't alone. A man I had never seen before walked into my home like he belonged there. She let him in with a smile I hadn't seen in years. They sat on the couch where she and I once shared late-night talks. They laughed. She leaned into him, and then, as if twisting a knife straight into my chest, she kissed him, right there, in the living room where we'd once celebrated anniversaries. My hands trembled as I watched. My heart pounded in my ears, so loud I could barely hear anything else. I replayed it again and again, each time hoping maybe I was mistaken. But the truth doesn't blur, it doesn't soften. The truth stays sharp, cutting deeper with every glance. I didn't confront her immediately. I wanted to see if it was a one-time mistake or something bigger. Over the next week, I kept checking cameras. And every time he came back, sometimes for an hour, sometimes for the night. They acted like teenagers sneaking around. Only there was nothing innocent about it. The hardest part wasn't watching her with him. It was realizing how well she had been pretending with me. She kissed me goodbye in the mornings, texted me, "I love you," in the afternoons, and at night, she slipped into bed beside me as though nothing was wrong. I used to believe infidelity was just about physical betrayal. But this was worse. It was a daily lie, the performance, the cruelty of knowing she looked me in the eyes while hiding another life. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together in my house. Our house. I thought about tearing the cameras down, about pretending I had never seen anything. But once you know the truth, there is no unknowing it. Once you see the knife, you can't convince yourself the wound was just an accident. So I made a decision, not out of anger, not even out of sadness, out of clarity. The next morning, I packed a small bag. I printed still images from the footage and left them on the kitchen table. No words, no explanation, no accusations. Just the truth. And then I walked out the door, locking it behind me for the last time. I don't know what her face looked like when she found those pictures. I don't know if she cried, if she cursed my name, or she simply shrugged and called him over again. And honestly, I don't care. Because the moment I walk away, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. I installed those cameras searching for answers. What I found was closure.